They were telling Beyonce that she can't be on the cover of Vogue because they can't sell.
We should not try to follow trends because we set trends.
Diana Ross actually has a closet that she can go into that's Met Gala ready.
Yes. Hello, I'm Bevy Smith, your very special guest host of BET Talks, a Met Gala extravaganza. Now joining me are two fabulous fashionistas. I'm talking about Miss Claire Sulmers, CEO and founder of Fashion Bomb Daily. Welcome, Claire.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
And a real Harlem dandy. I'm talking about Mr. Terell Jones, who is a fashion stylist, but also a fashion designer. And he actually put this on and designed it himself. Stand up and let us see your handiwork.
Yes, I love
Too
it.
dandy.
Come on, Tartan. Come on, Velvet.
What is that, velvet?
Is that Velvet?
It is velvet.
Yes, darling, yes. Now, guys, of course, this Met Gala was very, very special. I'll give you the official thing. Superfine, tailoring black style, but as I call it, the blackity black, the black Met Gala. But when you guys first heard about it, what did you think about the theme?
I was thrilled. I was really excited because I felt like it was a powerful acknowledgement of the sophistication, the creativity, and contributions of Black trendsetters and Black style to the fashion industry. You know, I've been covering these issues of diversity and inclusion specifically with Black people in the fashion industry for 20 years. And to see the evolution and to see that finally now we're taking center stage, it was really meaningful. And also, June Ambrose said that she felt like it was Anna Wintour's love letter to André Talley. And he's one of my inspirations, so I felt like it was a beautiful tribute to him as well.
I agree.
I felt like it was a moment for him to be honored. It was super sad that he wasn't here to actually receive his flowers, but I felt like in his honor, it was amazing. I felt like it was something that was long overdue.
Claire, you were actually on the red carpet
on the
covering
red carpet.
the Met Gala.
Yeah.
So who else did you see that you felt like evoked the spirit of André Talley?
So many people. Whoopi Goldberg,
Yes.
Spike Lee, even Dwayne Wade. Everybody was wearing a cape.
Yeah.
Yes.
Some people had ALT embroidered on their shirts. His presence was felt.
And of course, Coleman Domingo wearing a beautiful Valentino cape. Dapper Dan, he of course was at the Met Gala and he said he wanted to pay homage to the Zoot Suit, but also to Logomania, which he is the father of Logomania. But this time around, instead of wearing Gucci or Vuitton or something like that, he actually wore the Sankofa bird as his logo. What did it mean to you to see Dapper Dan back on that red carpet? I believe this is his third Met Gala.
Yeah.
But only in recent years. You know, when he was making all those iconic clothes for rappers, I don't know if he could have ever dreamed that he would be in a space like that.
I mean, when you think of Black dandy, you automatically think of Dapper Dan. You know, and there's so many different eras of the dandy, whether it's, 18th century slaves being dressed up or 19th century, the zoot suits and things like that. And he definitely redefined a new era. But I love that he came with his original design, and that's really important. I think there's always this push and pull and tug between, Black design and European designs. But the fact that he paid homage to an African symbol, I think truly shows his ability and his talent and his true creativity. So I love that. And I would actually love to see more Dapper Dan on the red carpet.
I gotta ask you, Claire, who was your favorite dandy?
My favorite dandy. I had so many favorites. It's sort of a tie between Janelle Monáe and Jodie Turner-Smith. The reason I say that, Janelle Monáe, obviously, she's a dandy when you think of her like a Black female dandy. She always is impeccable in her suits. She was known for her suits for such a long time in her career. I think she had one of the strongest
She was
looks.
one of my favorites.
Yeah, and it was amazing, the collaboration that Tom Brown did with Paul Tazewell and all the meaning and references and the grand reveal, so that was really great for me. But Jodie Turner-Smith in Burberry, topped off with the Essential, who's a Black designer, and that head-to-toe monochrome. If I had, all the resources, I would wear that.
Yeah.
That was perfect.
It was perfect. This was also, again, a call back to legacy because she was paying homage to an equestrian, a Black equestrian equestrian from the 1800s
Yep.
named Selina Lazarinsky. She didn't even know how to say
She
it
couldn't
either,
pronounce
child.
it either.
Okay, y'all Google Selena, black equestrian from the 1800s, and that's who she was referencing. So I love that people really put thought into it. They
Yeah.
didn't want to just show up and show out, but they really wanted to take this theme serious because they knew that this was an opportunity for the world to see black style and also to learn about black history in a kind of subversive way.
I loved it.
Whatever type of folks did you like seeing there? I loved Whoopi Goldberg, who
Love
looked
Whoopi.
great in Tom Brown, and that outfit was so intricate. It looked like feathers, but those were actually sequins, like kind of layered. It was impeccable work.
Stevie Wonder,
Oh,
speaking of black excellence,
I know.
he wore a beautiful black, the whole Wonder family that had I mean, it was the perfect name for them. It was a wonderful night. They had, he had a beautiful black cape that had all these black crystals, and it was so regal, and it was so necessary for Stevie Wonder.
Can we just have a moment of like silence for Diana Ross?
Yes.
Before shutting down the carpet?
I love
like
what
just,
Tracy Ellis Ross said the best. She said, "My mother stops time."
yes.
And really,
Very much
when,
so.
when she said that, I was like, oh, I stopped because it's so true. When
Yeah.
I saw Diana Ross hit the carpet, everything froze.
Yeah, people were yelling and
Yes.
everything for her, and she was just,
And I think she hasn't
accepting
been
all
in
the
like
praise.
20 years.
Yeah, she hadn't
Yeah.
been in 20 years. Like, when you're an icon like that, you don't need to go. That's the reason why you don't see the dolls like Iman showing up and all that. These people have been there and done that. As exciting as it is for many artists and for many celebrities, the folks of that caliber are like, oh, sweetie. I did that so long ago. Oh, sweetie.
I love that
it's
she's
nuts.
also been black and fabulous for so many years that she actually had that gown in her closet.
Come on now.
So she didn't have to
Yeah.
partner with the designer. She didn't have to go out and have someone do something custom for her. Diana Ross actually has a closet that she can go into that's Met Gala ready.
Yes, she pulled from that. But then we saw her son Evan at the Tiana Taylor party,
Yes.
and he explained to us that his mom didn't even really want to go. He urged her to go, and then
Yes.
he teamed her up with Ugo Muzi, and he did the beautiful cape,
Yes.
and he did the hat.
For 11, I believe it's 1116 is the name of the brand.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
11/16. And
Yeah.
then, of course, the cape had the names of all her children embroidered in
Yes.
it and her grandchildren.
Yes.
So she had legacy was a
Legacy.
big theme, and she
Beautiful.
brought her legacy along with her.
That was really beautiful.
Yeah, it was really great.
Lauryn Hill for me was somebody that I was really excited to see and created a beautiful legacy for fashion and style, in my opinion.
Yeah. And she was also unexpected. Met
Another
Gala.
unexpected
Yeah.
Met Gala guest.
Also unexpected, André 3000, who carried the weight of a piano on his back, literally.
Yeah.
Yes.
30 pounds to be
30
exact.
pounds. Oh, let's talk about good old Rihanna. Baby.
Yes, Rihanna
Baby.
shut it down.
Shout out to baby number 3.
I know.
And she shut it down. And over the years, I feel like Rihanna has taken it down a notch when she comes to the Met Gala. I feel like she's proven her point.
Yeah.
And now she comes to have a good time and to support Anna Wintour and the Met, Gala or whatever. But I don't feel like she feels that pressure anymore. And last night she looked amazing.
Yeah.
But it wasn't into the looking glass kind of.
I love that she chose that moment to reveal her baby bump.
Yeah.
I love Marc Jacobs is such a masterful tailor, and it was so creative how it kind of seemed like the blazer was opened up and tied back kind of like an African mother.
Right.
And the hat, everything about it was so British inspired. And she looked beautiful and stunning as always. She was one of those, the people we got most excited about were Diana, Lauryn, Rihanna.
Yes.
They were
Hands down.
kind of the unofficial queens of the Met.
I love
Yeah.
that. And what about the men? Because we had, for the first time ever, 4 co-chairs that were all black men. So we had Lewis Hamilton, Coleman Domingo, of course.
Of course.
Pharrell,
Yep.
and
LeBron.
And LeBron.
And LeBron, who couldn't make it. I think it was due to an injury.
Yes.
Yep. But Savannah was there, and she
Savannah
looked
was there.
beautiful. And
And
Hanifa,
she
who's
wore
a
Hanifa.
young,
Shout out to her.
black
She was
female
amazing.
designer. Yeah.
Yes.
Speaking of men, one of my personal favorite dandies was Usher.
Oh,
Usher, for me, paid attention to detail.
Yeah.
Usher was in Ralph Lauren. His wife looked absolutely amazing as well. But
And she wore
Usher-
Sergio
She wore
Hudson.
Sergio Hudson.
Yeah,
But
she did.
Usher I mean, the brooch was perfect. Usher wore purple socks. To me, that was one of the moments that really stood out for me the most. They were so royal, they were so regal. I mean, the perfect slipper, the perfect pocket chain, everything, the watch, all the accessories were absolutely amazing. So Usher for me was like my best dressed male dandy.
And the way he did it was very dandy. Because a lot of times when you are doing the dandy look, it's about the accessories.
Yes.
You know?
Oh yeah, the accessories were off the chain, the nails, the grills.
Yes.
Grills,
The amount
yes.
of grills I saw, and then the do-rags I love, because you could, you know, obviously the hat is dandy, but the do-rag is so modern and fresh and fly,
Yes.
you know, and I saw a lot of those last night.
We saw a lot of do-rags and a lot of hats and a lot of pocket chains.
lot
So
of
if
pocket
anyone wants to know how to dress up your spring, summer wardrobe, it's all about the accessories. Coleman Domingo quoted George C. Wolfe when he said, "God created black people and black people created style." Can I get an amen on that?
Amen.
Amen. Amen. And that's the reason why we should not try to follow trends, because we set trends.
Yeah.
So again, this was a very, to me, very political Met Gala in that regard, because we were able to show these folks, like, actually, you guys have been borrowing from us for a very long time.
Yeah.
You know, since we came here, we've been giving you ideas about style.
The acknowledgement is really powerful.
Yeah.
And I love that happened at the Met.
Do you think it changes anything? Do you think it changes anything within the Met? Do you think it changes anything within the Costume Institute? And do you think it changes anything in broader society now that this event has happened and our style has been on a global stage?
I certainly think it's a step in the positive direction. I think everything could be open to critique. It wasn't perfect. I always support black designers, and I would have liked to see a little bit more representation of black designers. Of course, they were present. Laquan Smith, Sergio Hudson, Deji and Colo, which I wore. But I thought it was kind of a bit of a missed opportunity to identify some emerging designers, even if they could have collaborated with some of these houses. And I think that's probably the next conversation that we're going to have, is how can we pour back into the young black designers who want to partake in fashion in this way. I wanted it to be full of black designers, or full of collaborations with young black designers, and it kind of lacked there, but I do believe that it is starting a conversation and they're listening. You know, because we've been for 20 years. When I first started Fashion Bomb Daily, we didn't see a black woman on the cover of Vogue. They were telling Beyonce that she can't be on the cover of Vogue because they can't sell.
Right.
So to go from that in our lifetime to this, where they're having a whole exhibit dedicated to black style and fashion, that is a leap forward.
Yeah,
certainly. It's not perfect, but we're getting there slowly but surely. Now the real change will be who can be behind the scenes, really exacting change, and who can be benefiting from this, really, from all the resources from this. I think it was $77 million that was raised.
Yeah. Right.
How much is being poured back into our community?
Yeah, so Terell, you know, we talked a little bit about the fact that a lot of folks online were saying, oh, this is ridiculous. So all these people talking about black style, meanwhile, black people can't, you know, afford eggs. They're worrying about how they're going to pay their bills, you know, all these kind of things. And so they felt like it was a bit frivolous and a bit tone deaf to have an event like this. What's your take on that?
I felt like black people have always had to worry about bills and always had to worry about life in general. So I felt like this was a time and an opportunity to show up and show out and show what you're really made of.
The resilience
the
of it.
resilience of it all, the tenacity. I felt like it was the time to show up for your people, to show up for the culture, to show up for the history, what you were built of, from your roots. And the style is the one thing that we own that can't be taken away from us. So I felt like this was the time and the opportunity to take that platform and really use it to the best of your ability.
That's true.
When is the Met Gala not frivolous?
Right.
When is it not, you know,
Well, I
you're
think
raising money for a museum. Yes, it does take a lot of money to maintain a museum, but the whole exercise is not, you know, it's not for some higher, greater good. I mean, it's fashion at the highest scale. So any criticism of this year could be for any year.
Yeah. But wouldn't it be great if, because they made so much money off of black style. Yet again, you know, everyone benefits from our intellectual property and the things that are innately great in us. And oftentimes we don't get a chance to eat from that plate. It would be great if there was a special scholarship that was, you know, at the Met and at the Costume Institute, in the name of André Leon Talley,
That would be
where
beautiful.
you know some kids could come through and really get a great education. The Met Gala was really powerful on so many different levels. It was blackity black black, a black black black. But how does that shift the culture? How does that make change, important change in our lives?
I thought the acknowledgement was great, but we don't need that validation. We've been known that we're fly, right? But I think we can start opening the conversation of how can we really support each other. This is $1 trillion business.
That's right.
We have seen how Louis Vuitton has leveraged our culture for their gain with Terell, with the Carters, with Tiffany and Co. This is LVMH,
Yeah.
the conglomerate. So we
With Virgil.
and with Virgil, I mean, we've seen so many examples. They love our culture and they've used it. And the man who owns LVMH is either one or two as the richest man in the world. So what does that mean? Obviously, we have the power, but we have to support our young designers. We have to support each other. We have to show up for our events. You know, don't just show up to the Met Gala. Show up to the Bomb Fashion Show.
Yes.
Show up to
as both of us have.
Yes, thank you. You both have, and I really appreciate that. But understand the power that we wield and turn it inwards. Of course, we always want to support the Met Gala. We love Louis Vuitton. I'm sure all of us have a piece in our closet and all these other brands, but make sure that you're showing the equal level of support to designers like Laquan Smith or Sergio Hudson, 5001 Flavors that we're both wearing today. And just make sure we're keeping the money circulating in our community as well, and don't miss that.
Yeah, for sure. Terell, your feelings on that?
I think it's just a confirmation that we actually do run this. We own this. It's us, because everyone waits. The world waits to see us on the red carpet. So I think it's just now owning that power and trying to take it to the next level.
Yeah.
Doing something for us with it, opposed to just waiting for this one moment and this one opportunity to shine. Like you said, Claire, taking that and making it a moment for us, owned by us, guided by us, led by us.
Yeah.
So that's what it is for me, and giving back to us.
Right.
I love that. And I'll piggyback on what both of you just said. I think it is imperative that we truly support each other. You know, NAACP Awards, I'm so happy to see that they're on BET, but also that the black celebrities come out
Yes.
in full throttle to support, because that wasn't always the story once upon a time.
Yeah.
I think that folks, black people are now, as black celebrities, are starting to really understand that, yes, it's great to be recognized by them, by other, but home has to be the first priority.
Yeah.
And so if we can retain that information and then build upon it and start really putting the money, the resources behind it, you know, making sure that if you're going out shopping for the spring, at least a couple of pieces are from a black designer. You
Very
know, that's a big help right there.
Yeah. And be very intentional.
Yes, being
with
intentional. Claire, Terell, thank you guys so much for joining me here on this great talk with BET Talks, the Met Gala Extravaganza Special.
Thank you.
So
for
much
having
fun,
us.
and I learned a lot from you, and I'm inspired by both of you. So I thank you so much for taking out the time.